Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Jersey all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome into a Red Out short clip here. This is from our latest episode. Hope you enjoy. Well, I guess big winner-loser tonight is Mike Sanford. Winner because he's getting paid. Loser because he lost his job.
Yeah.
Hate it for the guy. Best wishes to him and his family. I hope everything works out. But it's been coming. And the announcement came Sunday. He got canned at 2. Coaches were told at 3. His father and brother-in-law was canned at 3. And then the team was told at 4. Which, from what I've heard, and what Todd Stewart said in the press conference he had, those 2 were fired just because it was going to be awkward.
You can't keep them on staff.
Yeah, you can't keep them on staff. And I mean, if you fire them, then the other coach is going to be like, well, I mean, if you kept them, the other coach is going to be like, why? Now I've got to fire them. Because I don't think Senior was worth a flip. I'm sorry. I don't know if Mitchell was really any good either. As far as I'm concerned, I think everybody on staff should be sweating. But it's just me.
Well, I mean, Helton, it was funny when they asked him that because he actually was pretty straight to the point. Because somebody in that press conference asked, what are you going to do with the current staff? And he's like, well, if they're good coaches, we'll keep them. And if they're bad coaches, we will have to reevaluate. Which is code for I'm firing everyone.
Well,
and it was smart to not name any names either, because literally all of them were in the press conference. Because I was there yesterday and talked to a few of them. So yeah, that would have been awkward.
Yeah,
see him in the back. He's not coming back. So y'all be sure to say bye on the way out.
You gone and you gone and you gone. See ya. Get out.
Well, you can pry into some of the rumors though. That there is rumors that a couple are going to be kept on staff. We can get onto that here in a minute, but heard White might be kept, or
okay.
maybe who's the guy from Franklin? Jared
DeBerry,
Jamie DeBerry. Yep,
he could be kept. So I wouldn't put it past them. Maybe as recruiters or continuity issue, but he said the one quote I heard on that part was like, I was an assistant too, and somebody kept me when the previous coach got fired at UAB, so I wouldn't be shocked if that happens.
My thing is with the coaching staff, I don't think White needs to be the defensive coordinator. I think he's a good coach. He's a good person. DeBerry's good special teams coach or whatever. But if I kept White, I wouldn't make him the D coordinator. He would fall back to DBs or outside linebackers. I can't remember what he coached, but of course, some of the reasons Todd cited was the bowl game last year, Georgia State.
I was there. That was awful.
Yes, I completely agree. I think everybody quit. And I think we've talked about it before. I think he alienated the locker room, and the seniors that were there were like, F this dude.
Yeah,
we're done.
You're done. We don't like you.
Yeah, we don't like you. We don't care if you win because this is just helping you right now.
Which is kind of sad, right? Because on the one hand, you feel sorry for the dude who you've got a lot of production players who you need to step up to kind of support you in your transitional year to help recruiting, all that stuff. But at the same time, I can understand the frustration of a team that was so used to the winning ways and winning in a certain way, and then having somebody treat it as a rebuild and maybe not recognizing your value or your contributions as much. It kind of just sucked all around.
I agree. Of course, Todd decided that 3 straight bowl games would have been freaking awesome, which I agree, saying that only 9 programs in history have ever done that. And
it would have been good to continue the streak.
I agree.
Well, and you want to know what the end of last season, you sat at 5-2 and you stumbled to a 6-6 finish, and then you had those last couple games where you could have clinched a winning season to go back to 7-8 winning seasons in a row, and then you just pee down your leg against FIU and Georgia State. It was basically, hey, I don't have enough motivation and pride to get the team behind me on a very attainable goal. And like I wrote in that article a month ago, he did himself no favors by underachieving with the veteran team last year.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think the veteran team helped push him to the 500 record, and obviously he couldn't maintain it this year because he ain't here no more.
Well, I mean, that was the one thing. It always seemed off. Everybody was like, well, this is what happened. They were talking about, like, Coach Stoops. Because they're like, well, this is what happens if you are patient with the coach. He gets success. I was like, well, I need you to calm down because there are two problems with that. One, he inherited garbage.
Yeah,
so
literal garbage.
Start there. And two, it took him forever to get to what everybody else would consider a successful season, like 8-9 wins. Whereas Western had a good team, a veteran team with plenty of talent.
Two conference championships coming off that, too.
I mean, 2 NFL draft picks. The guy who's playing in the NFL now, tight end, had that. And then, like Ross said, you went TT down your leg.
Literally. I mean,
it would have been funny
people would have bought 8-5 last year. I think most reasonable fans, that's, the national media, when they're commenting on why would Little Western Kentucky fire a coach after in their second season and blah, 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 questioning it. I think a lot of that was, spent by Sanford. Like, they were saying that all the Western fans were expecting 10 wins. I think people could buy a transition period. At the end of the day, what did Sanford in was underachieving last year and showing zero growth throughout the course of this year before it was too late. And two good first halves where you hung on in the second half, both games, wasn't enough to keep his job. And I applaud Todd Stewart for, realizing, it's not going to get better. We've got to do this. We're 129 and 130 in whichever Sagarin rankings or whichever one it was. I think that was like, I just wanted to I was just clapping to myself when I heard that.
I was too. When I was really surprised. I mean, of course, I'm not going to go through this entire list, but some of the things he said, sometimes things don't work out, which is true.
Yeah.
I think he really wanted Mike Sanford to work out. And
you always do. You don't want to look bad.
No.
At the end of the day, this is. Todd hired the guy.
Yeah.
So the fact that he failed, it's not obviously the on-field performance, obviously not Todd's fault.
Yeah.
But when you hire an employee to do a job and they can't do a job, that does reflect poorly on you as a manager.
Well,
so it does with Todd. And like I said, it doesn't always work out, and that's fine. But he wanted this to be. You don't hire somebody hoping he wanted him to succeed, but he just knew it wasn't going to happen. And that's the question I posed to you two. When do you think he made this call? Because I'm thinking he's been sitting on this decision, that he's known he was going to fire Mike Sanford for well over a month.
I think it was UTEP.
Probably since at least the Charlotte game, I would say. That was probably the big turning point.
Because he cited
for a lot
the
of people.
Charlotte game as the worst performance,
He cited Charlotte as the worst performance, and I agreed. He mentioned Maine. He mentioned attendance at UTEP.
Yeah.
Which
Old Dominion, I think, had to have something to do with it, too, a little bit.
Yeah,
so what we're saying is most of the season.
Yes. And, of course, he cited it. Social media was not a factor, but I was like, of course, all of our complaints were listed, except for the Sagarin rating, which I was like, wow.
Oh, it was so bad I didn't even realize it was that bad.
Yeah, I think everybody else was the same way.
It's I know we stink, but are we really that bad? Oh, yes, we are. Good.
Yeah, I think, but what you're saying, though, with Todd, my big thing is with Todd, he literally picked this, quote, puppy up, and then when he got rabies, he took him out and put him down like Old Yeller.
Yeah,
but that's his job, right?
And that's the job of an athletic director. And sometimes it just sucks. You just gotta.
Yep. And I do think one thing was really funny for me, and I noted it, was when they mentioned what Brad said on Twitter, that if he won both the final two games, that he would have been safe.
And he was like, nah.
He literally looked shocked when he heard that. Because he was like, no, that doesn't even make sense. Why would I do that?
That's dumb.
He's like,
which is what we all thought. We were like, why would you throw away 2 seasons of data for 2 games?
Exactly.
Ross, I feel like you said that in the group chat. It was like, that's dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. You know what I am happy about those last 2 games? I'm happy for the players. I'm happy for, DeAndre Furby playing his butt off the last 2 weeks. And,
seeing Ferb back was so good.
With the touchdown. That was awesome.
Yes. Loved Ferb. He's probably one of my more favorites. Him, Mike Wandine's he's a great tight end. Love the hands on that guy. Is he a senior or is he a redshirt junior?
Yeah, he was a JUCO transfer, unfortunately.
So Jared, you kind of been quiet over there. What do you think as far as this firing and everything goes?
I mean, it was definitely the right decision. I mean, I know the buyout kind of sucks, but thankfully we were able to kind of still have some money to cover that. But I really like what Stewart did because he kind of owned up to it and made the right decision knowing that there wasn't going to be much progress made with Sanford and had to kick him to the curb, essentially. But I mean, it also shows an important thing to me through all of this is that we don't accept mediocrity anymore because, say, this would have happened before the conference championships and everything, sure, he probably would have got a pass on this year and came back for a third. But going off of those 2 back-to-back conference championships and having a losing record like this should be unacceptable. And I think that he showed that to everybody, too, saying that if you come to coach at Western Kentucky, you're going to win, or else.
Yeah, or else I'm going to put you down, son.
I mean, it's just part of it. I mean, I go back to this, and I know there's been some talk about, like, maybe some of us, particularly, like maybe me or maybe Matt, were like too heavy-handed with Sanford or the critique of the performance on the field this year. To which I will say, look, I ain't got nothing against the dude. He's a good dude.
Yep.
But if you're paid a premium to do a job and then you cannot do the job that you were paid to do, I'm not going to lie or pull punches and say, oh, well, it'll be fine. No, it's not going to be fine. I'm sorry.
You know, we're not going to...
He's the youngest coach in FBS. Let's give him a break. Let's let him learn on the job. I mean...
Is for the people for the media people who talk like that, I'm just going to say, get off your knees, okay? Yeah. You know what? You went to IU rivals, just leave it out, okay? You can't follow him everywhere, so he's gone now. Hopefully you and him and his wife can shack up somewhere, is all I got to say to that. Jeff Brom, we got a $900,000 buyout. Bobby Petrino, we got $1.2 million. And Michelle Hurd, which all 3 of those were mentioned in the press conference, which totals up
$200K, I think.
Yeah, she got $250. So that's $2.3 million right there. So that easily covers the buyout, and that was money I really hadn't thought about until later on in the
till
the season.
Talked about it.
Exactly,
it hadn't crossed my mind that they had saved the money for that reason.
I mean, the year Bobby coached us, we got him for free. He paid us $800,000. So we didn't pay him a salary, and we got $800,000 off of that. That's amazing.
It was basically, I can't get
it's at the half. You're good.
I can't get the Gamecast to pull up though. Sorry, I was trying to get the women's Gamecast scores to pull up real quick, but the
Matt's been tweeting it for the Tower Rack. It's 49-22 at the half.
Yep. But yeah, I was glad to see that. Of course, as it sounds bad, but if with this $2.35 million, we really need Helton to do well because we got lucky with this buyout. You know, another one it's going to be hard times unless we can get another donor to donate $1 million.
Yeah, good luck.
I thought it was funny that Todd said every AD has a short list. Maybe he should send that to Tyree.
Yeah. No, Tyree did have a short list. It was Brom 7 times.
Exactly. Yeah, Ross said the same thing Jake did. I mean, of course, I have a lot more respect for Todd Stewart tonight than I did, this week, really, than I did, basically when I knew him on campus. But, it seems like he's made a lot of decisions that we all agreed with. You do not fire coaches midway through the season. You evaluate at the end of the season. And I was like, that's true. I completely agree. You don't want to fire them halfway through the season because that looks bad on you. Unless you're
something. Ken McDonald.
Yes. Yeah.
True. That was bad.
That was bad.
Yeah, that was
Why
bad.
did you remind me of him? Why?
Because we love to see you in pain, Jared.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Of course, we probably had one of the quickest turnarounds I've ever seen because honestly, I thought this was going to be at least a week or two before we had an announcement about who the coach was.
It's like less than 24 hours later. Like, oh hey, we got one.
Yeah, and Louisville's like, whoa.
Can I take a moment on that topic?
You go right ahead,
please
Ross.
Go ahead. Lay out.
So I don't know if any of y'all even paid attention to the Tower Rack. It was literally 10 minutes before the Helton news came out. There was a little piece published called the Coaching Big Board 1.0. It's a 3,500-word masterpiece that took me about 4 hours.
Masterpiece. Okay.
For nothing, and oh man, it was gold. I mean, I even used Stone Cold A-hole when describing Bobby Petrino. And maybe 200 people clicked it. So
I hate to be bad, but I was in the majority that didn't click it, Ross. Sorry, buddy. It sounds bad, but I didn't even have a chance to read it because the announcement of, or the rumor mill was already going. So I was like, okay, well, don't worry about that. Just put Ross's piece on the back burner.
No, you gotta hit it and then just scroll all the way to the bottom real fast.
If I read it, I do the little clap thing, just
You
so people.
spam it.
Yeah.
If I had a little IP address spoofer, I would just keep doing that.
So kind of the details of the contract. He's going to be basically making the same as he was as an offensive coordinator at Tennessee.
Sounds
He's
about
getting about $800,000 base salary with $400,000 of incentives. He made $1.2 million at UT as offensive coordinator. Of course, he does have different incentives throughout. Make it to a year 6 bowl, which, by the way, would be crazy.
I think Sanford had that too.
Yeah, the contracts are really similar.
I think
do we know the buyout yet?
Do we know the buyout? I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Of course, bowl games, he gets $50K. Conference champs, $50K. If he gets academic progress for his players over 950, basically, he gets $50K.
950. What's the min? Like 940?
I have no idea what our APR.
I think that
I thought it was finance, honestly.
Oh, like annual percentage rate? Yeah, no. So they have that's like their academic score, and I'm trying to remember because Bobby Petrino got a $500,000 or a $50,000 bonus for just meeting the minimum your players are actually eligible.
Now, see, that's one is the 950 to 969, and then there's another 50 for the 970 plus.
Okay.
And he gets 25 for selling 12,000 season tickets, and he gets another 25,000 for being Conference USA Coach of the Year.
Cool.
So he can make bank and I imagine next year's going to be sellout Houch. I just feel that coming. I don't know. That's just me.
They might try.
I think probably the year after.
You think the year after?
Next year it's incremental growth. Get to 5 to 7 wins, and then you really take off when a lot of those younger players are seniors. Like I guess Duncan, if he wins the job, he goes there and he'd be a senior that year. We'll see though.
Yeah, and there were some people that were kind of critical about it. Wasn't very many. It's probably the people that are also UT fans as well, that are Western fans, that said, "Oh, well, you didn't do very good at Tennessee. He almost got fired there. I don't know how well he's going to do here," and all that stuff. But I mean, if he does what he says he's going to do with the offense again, I mean, he's going to be bringing back that excitement that we've been lacking the past couple of seasons that we were used to when he was here with Grom and everything. So I think the excitement will definitely catch on, especially if he starts winning games early on. Not necessarily against some of the bigger places like Arkansas. I know that's a game that they have. That could be winnable, maybe.
Yeah, Arkansas is pretty good.
Louisville might be winnable.
We better get the Louisville game next year. I don't care who they hire, but we'll see.
Yeah, agree with both you guys. Arkansas, they're really down. I mean, North Texas beat them? And North Texas, were they first or no? Where were they ranked in the Conference USA?
I mean, they were winning.
They were technically second in the West after UAB, considering La Tech lost to us
I don't think we know our cross-division guys yet. So I think that will be the big kicker on our ceiling. So if you get UAB or Southern Miss or somebody like that, that might hamper our chances at really having a big season next year. But we'll see.
I think he's going to have a rough start next year. Who do you all? We'll do a little talk here and maybe do a write up later. Who do you want to start quarterback next year?
I'll go first.
I will down the Kavaris Thomas Hill. I am ready to see this man play.
Get that big boy the ball.
Okay, so we know Jared's. Ross, what do you think, bud?
And we've got a running joke that Matt McKay hates this guy, but I'm a big Stephen Duncan guy. I mean, obviously he makes mistakes, but that's let's look at Dowdy's record. He had 15 and 15 that first year he started, 15 touchdowns, 15 interceptions the first year he started under Petrino, and then he blossomed. I think Sanford, obviously, his coaching was lacking for him, and really his confidence was lacking in him because despite leading us to a victory and almost beating a really good Marshall team, even though he fumbled at the end, the team played better when Duncan was a quarterback, even if he made mistakes. And I think you plug him in with a quarterback coach that's coached Sam Darnold, Dowdy, White, various others, Sam Hunt, funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
And you put him with that, and you have a confident offense that's actually going to, improvise and push the ball downfield in tempo. I think Duncan's got the strength to do that. Thomas, I'd love to see, but I'm worried about him actually passing the ball. So
Thomas reminds me of the dude from The Longest Yard, that giant dude. Just because, and I don't know, he had one pass and it was intercepted. Is that right? Or tell me, Kavarius Thomas fanboy, do you know?
I don't even remember him.
I was eating pudding.
I know that he graded a whole bunch, and he did get that rushing touchdown against Charlotte, which I think that definitely led to Sanford's firing, just to the fact that Thomas was doing better than all of the other quarterbacks that game, and he plays him for maybe one possession in like 4 snaps, scores a touchdown, and then doesn't play him the rest of the game. I'm just like, what? What is this?
Thomas is a human bowling ball.
Thomas is a human wrecking ball. I'm going to go that far. That dude is huge
for his size. To be a quarterback. I mean, he kind of looks like a really big tight end, or like. He's not super tall. He's just meaty. He's thick with like 3 C's. Like
he's a Frankenstein-esque. I mean, he's tall. He's stout looking.
He's got a cannon, though.
Gosh.
I mean, I think. Look, I'm kind of torn out because when I started the season, I was like, okay, here's what you do, Mike Sanford. You know you're going to lose a bunch of games. So just ride the 4-star as hard as you can unless he's absolute hot garbage, which I don't know if he's hot garbage, but he's definitely a child, so maybe you don't put him in. I don't know if I have like a favorite who I think they should start next season, but I just want it to be consistent. And I don't think Helton will make the same mistake that Sanford did and try to like run 3 different guys in there. I honestly think since he recruited Duncan, which they've talked about ad nauseum now, that's probably going to be his go-to guy as long as he doesn't completely stink it up in the whatever quarterback battle that's going to happen in the off season. But if he goes with Duncan, unless he's just, and I don't mean tanks in the first game. I mean tanks like the first 3, like is just terrible. Stay with Duncan, get him some confidence. Like you cannot just pull guys in and out of the game and expect them to get in any kind of rhythm, to get any kind of confidence, to understand your offense. Like, I don't care how much you practice it, it's not game reps. It just doesn't count the same. So if you're going to put Duncan in there, whatever offense you're going to run, keep him in there until, something bad happens.
And that was my biggest gripe with Sanford. It was like, okay, we're going to play. We started with Eccles. Then we went to...
Which I get starting with Eccles. I get it.
He's the senior. He's the old guy.
Yes. Okay, that happens.
Well, and Duncan had a DUI, too.
Duncan had a DUI. I forgot about that.
It killed him having a shot early.
Completely agree. And then, of course, then we go to Shanley, which Shanley... I want to see who's going to be the best coming out of spring. I want to see who Helton puts his money on. I want to see, after summer, pre-season camp or whatever you want to call it.
It all depends on what Helton's going to try to do with the offense, right? Because I think if you're going to go with a less run-heavy quarterback play, right?
Yeah.
Then, and I'm not saying that Shanley's not fast because we did see him, run really well. But I think he is your more prototypical quarterback. So if you want him to stand back there like a Mike White, okay, then go with Shanley. But if you want a guy who's going to be able to do a little bit of power run, which we know Duncan can do, then stick with Duncan. And then just so there's something, and I wanted to bring this up before we get into any basketball or anything, but I was looking at some tweets. They've got all the former players are talking about Helton. We love Helton. He's great. Well, Lamp tweeted something that was awesome. He said, "Yeah, he's a really sharp guy. He takes what he's got and he wins with it. He's not stuck in his ways." And I was like, "Oh, burn!"
Yeah, it's kind of one of those that it wasn't necessarily directed toward.
Maybe not, but
it was sure, pretty. It was. I'll give it to you.
Sounds like it. Sure sounds like it.
And it may not been, but it did seem pretty.
I mean, I retweeted it because I thought it was awesome. Because I think it's funny.
Completely agree. So, Jared met.
Can I give a?
You go right ahead.
Can I give a quick?
Go ahead,
final
Ross.
Thought on the Helton hire. Just two. I got 2 points.
You go right ahead.
Number one, we talked how awesome Stewart was in this situation. Let's be honest. At the end of the day, Helton was the guy that you should have hired 2 years ago. You wouldn't have had the transition, the switching systems, everything else. Helton would have been that guy 2 years ago.
Sure.
Made the mistake, and you know what? He made swift action to correct that before it was too late. Kudos to him. Point number 2 would be the Tennessee fans the Tennessee dual fans and the people who are scared about his 1 year at Tennessee. Like that, he improved their offense from the Butch Jones dumpster fire last year to this year. But B, Tennessee had no offensive line. They had a defensive rookie head coach who didn't know what the heck he wanted to do, and they didn't have any playmakers. And his quarterbacks actually went 15-5 touchdown to interception ratio. So that to me screams he probably just wasn't a great fit there for what Jeremy Pruitt wanted to do, and we shouldn't hold that against him. And he's going to be coaching against Conference USA defenses, so. I think it's gonna be a great marriage, and it's just great to realize, hey, we went away from what made us special, and I love the Taggart area, but we really went to the next level with Brom, and we're getting back to it, and that's exciting. And any fan that's crazy or scared because of that one little year at Tennessee, I'm just not buying it.
Well, of course, our offensive line, I won't say is better than Tennessee's as far as talent goes, but I think they've got a little more experience this year. They got a lot more experience than they did Sanford's first year. And, I mean, Western's fate until we actually, make it big to the Power 5 or whatever, our fate is going to be either coaches are going to turn out like Sanford or they're going to turn out like Brom. Either they're going to succeed and they're going to go on to another school, or they're going to fail and we're going to have to get rid of them and get somebody else.
Well, don't reinvent the wheel if it's going good. I think Sanford would have been good if he was taking over, like when Elson was turning over the program, or Taggart was starting out, or whatever. He would have been great in a situation like that because he could have been given time to grow. We couldn't accept that for where we were and what he turned us into because we couldn't afford having a 33-year-old coach who didn't know what the heck he was doing.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Mic drop.
Yep, mic drop. So
Literally.
Yeah. Well, Jared, you met Coach Helton. What do you think?
That is correct. I got to go to the press conference and everything yesterday. It was really cool. It was the second one I've been to. I went to Sanford's too. And I feel like there was more people at Helton's too, for what that's worth. But it was really neat. I mean, he just seems like a really nice, kind of laid-back guy. I think he's going to run probably a pretty loose ship for the most part. I mean, he kind of said that in his press conference, too, talking about how Brom, like, if he told somebody to come over to where he's at, they would come immediately or whatever for something. And then, like, if he says that I'm more the kind of the guy that's like, I say, hey, come here. And then, like, if they don't come immediately, he's still going to kind of tell them what they need to hear anyways. But I really like his demeanor. It was the first time I've ever seen the man talk. So that was interesting. And he just seems like a really good guy. I think, he's going to bring back the excitement that we used to have with the air raid offense for the most part. We'll see how everything kind of works out with that. But he was the guy that I was hoping we would get in the first place. I mean, that's what I said Sunday when we recorded the really short thing. So we'll see. He was really cool.
I mean, his first words in that press conference that I saw were, well, guys, I tell you what. And I was like, yes, we got a redneck back.
Well, folks, I tell you what.
And tell you what. Yes.
You know what? That just tickles me because he was just at Tennessee. I mean, that's kind of redneck capital,
and he's a
right?
Florida guy, so it's just like...
Yep.
I will say the main thing that I initially doubted him for was saying that Bowling Green was the best communities that he's lived in since he was, like, going between coaches. But, I mean, he did live in Los Angeles and Knoxville, so I will give him credit and say that checks out.
Yeah. Which
bless his heart.
Jared's point is that is that every coach should come to Bowling Green because they have the highest restaurants
Yeah, because you can get fat here really
Yes,
easy.
basically.
Absolutely. Most restaurants per capita in the United States, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Which, Jared, I'm not sure that's actually true, man.
I can't.
It used to be. It was true at one point. It was true.
You know
You're
what?
so emphatic about
Get
that.
your facts out of here. No one wants to hear that.
I can't cite my sources, but gosh darn it.
You know what tickles me the most is Jared hadn't had cheddars. Or have
I
you?
have had cheddars. I
You ate
just
there
was
once.
not the biggest fan of it.
The
I
biggest
just got
chicken
followed by
tenders you'll ever
Travis
eat.
Hilton right now on Twitter, you guys. I'm pretty hyped.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing in the background as I let you all talk. And I actually followed Coach Helton, so I don't know how that's going to turn out.
Pretty
Somehow
well.
It's gonna be like, the heck
Travis
is
Hilton
this?
followed me.
What did he say?
Travis Helton followed Ross. That dude just must be everywhere as far as following people goes.
Yeah,
He's got quite a mustache.
Yes,
good mustache.
Yes, it's very,
It's an excellent
very,
mustache.
it's a very Tennessee.
Did you guys see the tweet that I had just now with the towel rack, though, talking about the new coach of Louisville will get?
Yes,
Yeah, that was
and
awesome.
that's the
I was really proud of that.
That was good.
More so than I should be.
Hope you enjoyed the clip from our latest episode. Subscribe for our weekly Red Out podcast. And always remember, go Tops.